Oh, right, yeah. Alright, lads. I think it's time for a recap on leaks. And we have just under a year's worth of leaks to cover. This video is going to be long. Real quick before the video starts, I'd like to thank you lots for the support. However, I have noticed that over 95% of the people that watch the channel haven't subscribed. I know most YouTubers do tend to do this, have just go on, subscribe for God's sake, like come on. But really, it is helpful. It will allow people to see my channel clearer, and it also gives channel benefits like polls and things like that. So just a friendly reminder, if you are watching and enjoying the channel and you enjoy the content that you're watching, I'd appreciate it greatly if you subscribed. Thank you, and let's get back into the video. If you don't want to be spoiled, or if there's something in particular you're interested in seeing, but you don't want the rest of the update being spoiled, I have time-stamped certain things in the description for your viewing pleasure so that you don't have to worry about that. Also, so you don't have to hear my dumbass ramble constantly. Especially with this video, because this video is big, as I'll be talking about almost every reworked item in full detail. It's going to be kind of a breeze, so I'm just going to begin. So with there being a year between the last video, there's been a lot of changes and leaks. One of those is a fresh document that Foxy made for Third Sacrifice, explaining the reworks and new items and how they work and stuff. So I'm going to be going over it as fast as I can to make sure that you know what you're looking at. Also, I'm not going to be going over every single item on the list, just because they've listed every single item. So if you want to have a look at it, if there's an item in particular you want to see if it's been changed or not, odds are I will probably have mentioned it if it has been changed. Because I'm only going to be explaining the ones that are important. Like things like a floodlight wall. Well, I'm not going to explain that. I mean, that's a new item. If you want to have a look at the document, you can. But if I listed everything that's new or changed, I would be here forever. So I'm just going to start it off. A lot of these are shop items, so just be aware. Not all of them will be very important, but when Third Sacrifice comes out, you're going to want to know the best methods of getting that to that DD price. We've got Ore Incinerator. It's being nerfed to 2 times from 3 times. Large Ore Upgrader increases ore by 50% until 50,000. Radioactive Refiner will be doing 3.5 times on the ore until 500 billion and will apply the radioactivity effect. Ore Cannon is being changed. It won't have the multiplier that it does. I think it has at the moment a 1.5 times multiplier, and you can use it however many times. I also believe they're making it so that while the ore is suspended in the air, it can't be upgraded by certain upgraders. Upgraders that are suspended, like Morning Stars and Neutron Stars and things like that, of course they will be usable. Precision Refiner increases ore value by 40% until the ore is worth 100 million, and will only upgrade ore worth more than 50,000. Ore that are larger than 1x1x1 will be set on fire. Way Up High Upgrader increases ore value by 40% until the ore is worth 1 billion. Digital Ore Cleaner increases ore value by 60% until the ore is worth 10 billion, and it will only upgrade ore worth more than 1 billion. Freon Blast Upgrader increases ore value by 45% until the ore is worth 100 billion, and it will only upgrade ore worth more than 10 billion, and it will still extinguish ore fire, which is quite nice. Ore Collider is the exact same story as the Ore Cannon. It's just losing its multiplier, and it's going to only be able to use suspended upgraders with it. Now there is actually an item here, and I believe the family of items that have been changed. It kind of upsets me a bit, in a way, because it's the Schrodinger. It has an item limit. You can only use the Schrodinger 5 times. Now I believe the rest of the stats are the same. as it says on the document. The party boombox. Now, this item was just a decorative item. It's now being completely changed to a premium item that you can buy from the premium shop for 200 UC, and it will allow players to change the song on their bass to any of the official Miners Haven OST songs. So no longer will you need to have the Game Pass. The basic, proficient, and quantum research centers will be receiving reworks that are unknown at this time. Frozen Justice. Now, a lot of the reborn items are being changed. They're all being given, they're all being given gimmicks. Now, I'll get to a few of them in a minute. One of the most important ones, in my opinion, one of the most interesting ones, is the Massive Diamond Mines one. Now, Frozen Justice will process ore at 15 times the value. Now, at the moment, I believe it's 12 times the value with normal ore, and then 25 times flaming. The flaming has been completely gone and been replaced by the Frozen Justice will boost all cold items by 50%, which is very interesting. So furnaces, I believe from what Foxy has said, furnaces will be receiving a quirky gimmick. The ore encapsulator. Now, I believe this item is this was awarded to players playing Miners Haven in the alpha. They're buffing it so that it processes ore at 30 times. I do actually know what this originally did. Basically, for every single time ore was refined in it, it would add an extra 1 to the process value. So it could go up to like 100 times or something like that. Where now it is just a flat out 30 times. The Massive Diamond Mine, this item has received a complete overhaul, and I love it. Absolutely love it. It's gotten such a cool gimmick. Basically, it acts the same how it is with the ore. It will drop an ore worth 10 million every 10 seconds. Blowing up the ore will processed by this mine will split it into 8 pieces. However, each of those pieces will be 1/8 the value of the original ore. The Undead Guardian is getting better because PvP and defending bases is going to get quite important. The Suspended Refiner increases ore value by 70% until the ore is worth 1 QN and will only upgrade ore worth more than 10 million. The Molten Upgrader increases ore value by 80% until the ore is worth 50 quintillion and will only upgrade ore worth more than 1 quintillion. Dreamer's Fright, here we are. So it processes the ore at 20 times, but will add the frightening surge effect to ore when mines drop the ore. The Black Hole, another shop item, processes ore at 40 times the value, and the Black Hole will randomly open and process ore by 60 times. Newtonium Mine will produce 1 ore worth 100 million to 5 billion every 0.5 seconds. And ores from this mine get a 10% bonus from radioactive base upgraders. Now, I believe the Newtonium Mine already had this effect, but this change has made it so it is just a flat out 10% for every radioactive base upgrader. The Advanced Ore Atomizer shop item will increase ore value by 40% until it is worth 1 sextillion, and will only upgrade ores worth more than 50 quintillion. Freon Suppressor increases ore value by 70% until it is worth 100 sextillion, and will only upgrade ore worth more than 100 quintillion. Old Faithful is receiving a big change here, and I am very up for it. It will produce 1 ore worth 10 million every 2 seconds, the same as it does at the moment, I believe. And ores will gradually increase in size, but the ore value will be multiplied by 4 times after existing for 20 seconds. Now, the change here is that ore value will now scale with life. So life 0 to 25, ore will be worth 10 million. Life 26 to 100, 100 million. 101 to 250, 1 billion. 251 to 500 will be 10 billion, and life 501 to 1000 will be 100 billion. Flaming Schrödinger has received a similar treatment to normal Schrödinger, but it has an item limit of 3 instead of 5. The Adorable Guardian is receiving buffs to make it better. Big Bad Blaster and Thingamajig will be receiving reworks, but we don't know them yet. The Haunted Infuser will now allow players to be resurrected after death, and they will gain a 10% increase to their damage output, but resurrected people will only have 25% their maximum health, and the resetters will not do anything with this infuser. Force Field Generator will create a massive dome around your base, and players that do not have permissions will not be able to bypass through it. It's unclear though if you can destroy the force field. I should imagine you probably could. The Spooky Research Center is receiving a rework. The Lightning Bolt Refiner will upgrade ore by 1.25 times to 4 times as long as it is powered, and can be used up to 3 times. This is nerfed heavily, as originally I do believe it was 2 times to 10 times. Dark Magic is receiving a rework. Righteous Will is receiving some buffs, and I believe it's also receiving a resistance to explosives by 40%. Big Bertha will now upgrade ore by 8 times. Santa's Workshop, this is actually a really quirky and interesting one. It will produce an ore worth 550 million every 0.6 seconds, same as normal, but it will occasionally create ores that increase other ores' value by 40%. Newbite Mine was receiving a rework. Hopefully it is something a little like Old Faithful. The Ore Firma Crusher will increase the ore value by 30% until it is worth 100 SP. It will only upgrade ore worth more than 10 sextillion. So the ones that I'm talking about with the percentage and the limits and caps or whatever, these are what called cap graders. And currently there are a few in the game now, but once Third Sacrifice comes out, as you can see with this list, and the items I have listed off, there are a lot of new ones, and a lot of items have changed into cap graders. The Suspended Lava Refiner, another new cap grader, upgrade ore by 40% until it is worth 1 octillion. Will only upgrade ore worth more than 100 septillion. The Ore Transistor will increase the ore value by 45% until 1 nonillion, and will only upgrade ore worth more than 1 octillion. Santa's Sleigh will randomly decide if an ore is naughty or nice. Naughty ores will be multiplied by 85% and turn red. Nice ores will be multiplied by 4 times and turn green. Executive Infuser is receiving a rework, which is unknown at the moment. Lucky Infuser gives infused users a 15% chance to find a lucky clover in a golden crate. When doubled with a resetting infuser, it will raise the chance to 30%. The Undead Santa is receiving buffs for the PvP. Sunken Pass. Now, this is actually a very interesting and very exciting change. It will process ore 18 times. It will shoot cannonballs at ores that are on fire. And cannonballs will grant a similar upgrade to players, but can only upgrade 3 times per ore. And cannonballs will upgrade ores that pass through by 4 times, or I believe up ores that have been shot. The Infinite Infuser is receiving some changes. I'm not sure what the things are. I think it might be a buff. I'm not sure. Eternal Journey processes ore at 75 times their original the ore value, and ores must wait a minute before processing. Fracture is receiving a rework. Sage Redeemer is also receiving a rework. Solar Flare will process ore at 20 times the value. It will double the power of day-activated items during the day and night-activated items during the night. Diamond Falls will process ore at 20 times their value. Diamond ore receive 15% more upgrades from all upgraders. Blind Justice is getting a rework, and so is Kappa Investor. Kappa Investor is also becoming a legacy exotic along with Twitch Eye Mine and Excalibur. Wild Spore will upgrade ore by 3 times and will be able to remove status effects once. Birthday Cake is receiving a rework. Volcango is also receiving a rework. Morning Star is a cap grader, 70% until the ore is worth 1 nonillion, and it will only upgrade ore worth more than 100 million, and it will set ore on fire. So it's the Morning Star that we know and love, but I believe its multiplier has changed.
The True Overlord device is getting a hefty nerf. Instead of it being 100 times, it's going to be 25 times. The Dragon Blaster is receiving a rework. The Swordmaster Spirit Furnace will process ore at 35 times the value, and it will occasionally appear and create purple mist that upgrade ore by 5 times. The Ore Transponder, another cap grader, will increase ore by 100% until the ore is worth 10 DE and will only upgrade ore worth more than 1 non-million. Fusion Reactor is receiving a rework. The Aethra Refinery will process ore at 40 times the value, and the gate closes for 5 seconds after processing an ore. Ores inflicted with education or the electrified effects automatically get blocked off until the effect wears off. Heavenly Wisp is receiving a rework, which is very much so needed because that item is god awful. Autumn Breeze is receiving a rework. I'd like to see what that is. Dreamer's Anguish is receiving a rework. I don't actually think that's going to stay as a Cell Furnace. Flying Dutchman is receiving a rework. I'd like to see something similar to Sunken Pass because I think Sunken Pass is actually very interesting with that change. Hades Fang is receiving a rework. Haunted Carnival, a really odd Cell Furnace, receiving a rework. Blood Magic is receiving a rework. Candy Bag is receiving a rework. Northern Lights is receiving a rework. That's quite nice. Martian Friend is going to be giving players Fusion Coil. Santa's Chimney, the Cell Furnace, is receiving a rework. Sweet Tooth will process ore at 12 times their value and allow mines to occasionally drop chocolate ore that melt when set on fire. Melted chocolate leaves behind puddles of chocolate that upgrade ore based on how large the chocolate ore was. The Great Parasite is receiving a rework, and the Incendium Mine are receiving reworks. Dragon Glass Blaster is receiving a rework, and Catalyzed Star is going to be quite weird actually. It upgrades ore by 5 times on its first use, and then the second use onwards it will be a cap grader, so it will upgrade ore by 60% until 1 NVD, and it will only upgrade ore worth more than 1 billion. Quantum Clockwork will upgrade ore by 4 times and then 5 times, so if it hits the middle, it will do a 9 times. Is it 9 times or is that 20? Because it does. Oh no, that'd be 20 because it does 4 times and then 5 times. Ultimate Sacrifice is receiving a change. It will remove all machine tags from an ore along with most status effects and multipliers. And multiplies ore by 10 times. Tesla Resetters and Refuters, Black Dwarfs, and Void Stars will all be receiving a +5 addition to their multiplier. Ore Steamer, one of the items that is being held back in Third Sacrifice until one of the updates after is receiving a rework, and same for Satellite Beam. Eternal Fracture is receiving a rework, Endpoint Refiner is receiving a rework, Rush Upgrader is receiving a rework. So the Endpoint Refiner and the Rush Upgrader are going to be held back, just like Satellite Beam and Ore Steamers, but the Raised Furnace and Reinforced Furnace are being retired. Equinox is receiving a rework, which is nice. Nature's Enchantment will process ore based on its upgrade count and has no limit. Pot of Gold is receiving a rework. Dreamcatcher is receiving a rework. Sakura Gardens receiving one. The Sage Justice receiving a rework. Ore Hoister, Portable Ore Stopper, or Recliner. Research Center and Portable Ore Enhancers are all receiving reworks, all of which are being held back except for Research Center. The Oasis Furnace is receiving a rework and becoming a legacy. Final Upgrade is also receiving a rework. Raised Wide Upgrader and Overhang Upgrader are receiving reworks. Dark Illuminator will process ore at 25 times when not activated, and at 45 times when activated. Ores inflicted with education are processed at full value. Cell Collider will be receiving a rework. Heat Condenser is also receiving one. Grand Birthday Cake is receiving one. Jagged Enhancer is also receiving a rework and is being held back. Serpentine Upgrader is being reworked, increases, and it's going to be a cap upgrader, so it increases ore by 40% until 1 trillion, and it will only upgrade ore worth 100 billion. Angelic Grace will be a flat out 75 times. Electronic Furnace is being held back. Oh no, it's being retired. Electronic Furnace is being retired completely. That's a shame. I quite like that item. Sakura Falls is being reworked. Hydra Blaster is also being reworked. Neutron Star is a cap upgrader and will increase ore value by 65% until the ore is worth 1 TVG. And will have an extra upgrader in the upgrader that yields a 2x multiplier. And it will only upgrade ore worth more than 10 billion. Swift Justice and Aurora Borealis are receiving reworks. Precursor Furnace is receiving a rework. Ore Winder, Ore Roaster, and Spectral Upgrader are all receiving reworks. Natural Springs is being retired. Guardian of the Gate processes ore 22 times, allows teleporters to remove mundane status effects such as fire and frozen. Timeless Enchantment will process ore 22 times their value and will boost conveyor speed by 15%. Ancient Magic is receiving a rework. Statue of Knowledge. Now, it's not receiving a rework, it's going to stay the same. However, how you obtain it is changing. So you will have to have a 50% item mastery before you can get it. Hungry Spirit is receiving a rework. Sage King, another rework. Ambrosia Fountain will process ore at 20 times the value and boost the power of food-based items by 50%. Ambrosia Forest will be doing the exact same effect. But it will process ore 35 times and will double the power of the food-based items instead of boosting it by 50%. Igneous Forge will process ore at 30 times their ore value. Fuel fed into Igneous Forge will also power any other industrial items on the base. Grand Christmas Tree is receiving a rework. Innovators Research Center receiving a rework. Ore Crane is being held back and is receiving a rework. Lucky Research Center is receiving a rework. Drone Upgrader is being held back. Crystal Shrine is receiving a rework. Vulcan's Grasp is receiving a rework. Frozen Peaks processes ore at 35 times the value and doubles the power of cold items. Forbidden Magic is also receiving a rework. Supreme Birthday Cake is receiving a rework. Book of Knowledge has a max multiplier of 2,500 times. Ores gain knowledge from knowledge-based items, which increases the multiplier of this furnace. If an ore with knowledge is lost, the multiplier will decrease. So, Book of Knowledge is receiving a complete change. Ore Indoctrinator upgrades ore by 66 times and applies the education for 40 seconds. That's a big change. That was originally 666 times and applied it for 66 seconds. Spook Demon 66,666 is receiving a rework. Pizza Research Center receiving a rework. Pizza Furnace processes ore 35 times the value and doubles the power of pizza items. Spook Baron and Pumpkin Possession are receiving reworks. Dreamer's Nightmare is receiving a rework. Dreamer's Terror will process ore at 50 times their ore value. Mines will drop ore inflicted with Frightening Surge that have free usage, whatever that means. Devourer of Nightmares is receiving a rework, so is Palladium Drill. Dracula's Coffin, another one receiving a rework. Spooky Fruit Punch Processor, that's a mouthful, that's receiving a rework. Candy Research Center, receiving a rework. Canis processes ore at 16 times their ore value and boosts the power of meme items by 75%. The Abomination is receiving a rework. The Dagalar is receiving a rework. Ethereal Sanctuary is receiving a rework. Red Giant will increase the ore value by 70% until UVG and will only upgrade ore worth 1 billion. Blue Supergiant will upgrade the ore for 3 times until the ore is worth 1 NVG and will only upgrade ore worth more than 100 billion. Ethereal Synthesizer will process ore at 50 times their value. Gate closes for 5 seconds after processing an ore, and ores inflicted with education or electrified automatically get blocked off until effect wears off. The Fissure is receiving a rework. Tyrant's Forge processes ore at 44 times their ore value. Fuel fed into Tyrant's Forge will also power any other industrial base items, and along with doubling their power. Hydraulic Presser is receiving a rework. Ore Memer receiving a rework, that's interesting. Eternal Limbo processes ore 100 times their ore value, and ores must wait a minute before processing. Stellarite Mines receiving a rework, that's nice. Tempest Refiner receiving a rework. Cosmic Towers receiving a rework. Crystal Altar is receiving a rework. Vulcan's Destiny is receiving a rework. Hand of Midas is a new item that will be given to players if they own the Premium Game Pass. So this is the replacement to the Rainbow Path Giver. Fire Blast Upgrader will increase ore value by 100% until 100 billion and will only upgrade ore worth more than 10 billion. Horizon Centrifuge will increase ore value by 55% until the ore is worth 1 septillion and will only upgrade ore worth more than 1 sextillion. Lemon Land processes ore at 30 times their value. Dreamer's Sight processes ore at 50 times their value. Heart of Dusk processes ore at 100 times their value. Supreme Christmas Tree is receiving a rework. New Year's City is receiving a rework. Leprechaun's Hat is receiving one. And Gladiator's Fury is receiving one and it processes ore at 20 times. Empowers a random ore, allowing it to receive a 500% boost in the next upgrader that it receives. This only will empower an ore if another ore of a similar ore value to it perishes. Colosseum Catharsis will process ore at 75 times and boost the power of ancient items by 3 times. Interstellar Conqueror is receiving a rework, thank God. Elysium Solemnity is receiving one, that's interesting. Tyrant's Throne processes ore at 100 times their ore value, forces ore to receive consistent upgrades from Schrodinger's. The upgrade chosen is random and is exclusive to the ore. Invasive Cyberlord will process ore at 30 times the ore value and has 3 upgrades above the furnace, all of which upgrade the ore by 3 times. Phase Processor is receiving a rework. Breach Motherboard processes ore at 45 times the ore value and has 3 upgrades above it. They're basically the same as an Invasive Cyberlord, but instead of it doing 3 times, it does 7. Newtonic Corroder is becoming a research upgrader. Interesting. Guardian of the Portal processes ore at 38 times their ore value and allows teleporters to remove uncommon status effects such as fire, frozen, poison, and radioactivity. Dreamer's Valor processes ore at 50 times the value. Mines will drop ore inflicted with Mighty Surge that have free usages. Now, I don't know if I mentioned Dreamer's Might. I don't think I did. If I did, yeah. Dreamer's Might is basically the exact same, but it does, I think, 20 times multiplier and has only 1 Mighty Surge use. Slightly upscaled Worldly Illuminator. That's receiving a rework somehow. Nature's Temple is receiving a rework. Phase Cursor Furnace is receiving a rework. Funky Town will process ore at 60 times the ore value. It will spawn spores around the base that will do one of the following effects. Curse ore, like a deadly spore, inflicts poison, increases ore size, or decreases the ore size. Dreamer's Blight is receiving a rework. Grand Willow will be receiving a rework. Octopi Cancel is receiving a rework. Deviled Blaster is receiving a rework. Queen Birthday Cake is receiving a rework. Temporal Enchantment, it will process ore at 38 times the ore value and boost conveyor speed by 30%. Soul Blossom is receiving a rework, that's nice. Nuclear Stronghold is receiving a rework. Industrial Scarab is also receiving a rework. Oblivion Emission, another rework. Nuclear Castle, another rework. Lunar Bombardment will process ore at 30 times the value. The Moonlight will prevent ores from burning and allow night-activated items to always remain active. Solar Eruption is the second evolution for Solar Flare and will process ore at 30 times the value. Sunlight will prevent ores from freezing and allow day-activated items to always remain active. Redwood Compass is receiving a rework. Spectral Research Center is receiving a rework. Awakened Jack-o'-lantern is receiving a rework. Plagued Forest processes ore at 18 times their ore value, and items that are inflicted by poison will instead inflict plague. Conquered Wasteland is receiving a rework. The Eternal Overseer is receiving a rework. Bag of Stars, that's receiving one. Dreamer's Devastation is receiving a rework. The Vault will process ore at current Roblox stock price. Radio Tower is receiving a rework. All-Star Behemoth Cake is receiving a rework. Forsaken Cake is receiving a rework. belated 4th birthday cake is receiving a rework. And then you have the Easter exotics, which haven't been revealed. That covers the document. I've probably been recording for about an hour now. This is going to take a long time to edit. And I'm not even done. So now I'm just going to get on with the stuff that I have already managed to gather. Aside from the document, starting with Spook Baron, its ore shields being reworked somehow. Supers are turning into single-use items, excluding Midas Blaster. But they are most likely all receiving buffs because of this. Cap graders, as with the document, you've just listened or you've just seen I've gone over the document for like an hour. Cap graders are going to be very strong. But once you reach Centillion and begin going through the hex suffixes, cap graders won't help the player. They will stop working completely, I believe. All furnaces are receiving quirky reworks to affect items on the base or things like that to make them a bit stronger, so they're not just furnaces and they're not just sitting there doing naffle. With the current testing, from what has been said, it is unclear whether or not you can actually reach the highest catch suffix in the game. The Lifelock shop items are being retired at launch, except for all zappers and industrial ore welders. When they return, they will not be in the low-end shop, so they are going to be quite expensive. Cell furnaces are also receiving pretty big reworks. The best cell furnace in the game, from what Foxy has said, after Third Sacrifice, is going to be Nature's Grip and Gaia's Grasp. The rest of the cell furnaces won't actually classify as cell furnaces. Now, he didn't go into detail with this, and on the wiki or in the document there was nothing explained on cell furnaces, which is kind of confusing. Now, whether or not this is going to be changed in Third Sacrifice or an update after, or maybe even it's just been a scrapped idea completely, who knows, but this is what Foxy has said before. He said that they're being changed. Hydraulic platforms are probably getting nerfed, I believe, from what I said, and they're also getting a quite nice visual change, as you can see on the screen here. They are adding trusses to the foundations and the poles to make it look a bit nicer, and I quite like the look of them. And the last thing when it comes to normal things, and after that bloody document, is the Easter event. Now, I was gone for a while, and I wasn't able to cover this, even though I did want to. The Easter event actually had 5 new eggs added, but they were all locked behind Third Sacrifice. So, this led me to believe that Third Sacrifice is closer than I originally thought it was. And I know I've already made plenty of assumptions in videos. If you want to go back, you can see my assumptions. Oh, come on, August 2019. Yeah, it didn't. Research points. I believe I talked about this recently. They're receiving reworks. Research points will be getting reset when you sacrifice, along with the UC boxes and the usual things. But with this, we'll bring a complete rework to the research system. Most mines will no longer reward RP when sold. Instead, new and revitalized research point mines are required to farm, as well as there being brand new research upgraders. In the document, if you've looked at it yourself, you could have seen that some items have changed rarity, and some of those were shop weapons, so I should imagine they'll be more expensive. I do believe they're getting rid of the base immunity when you're on your base in Third Sac, or or the PvP update. I'm not entirely sure. When Third Sacrifice comes out, and they're starting to near the end, Foxy has already conceptualized a new mode, a brand new game mode for Miners Haven, hard mode, that will remove the ability to use layouts. And if it does release, if they do this hard mode, Ore Collision will return. Now, I'm going to show you some pictures of the map. along with some of the changes they're making to NPCs, some animations, and the new cars that they're adding. Now, the new map is going to be absolutely massive. I believe I've showed a picture of the map being as big as it is on one of my previous videos. And because of this, they're adding cars. They're also nerfing and changing a lot of the infusers, so you won't be able to go as fast as you can. The champion infuser is no longer going to be allowing you to fly, that type of stuff. But cars are going to be the new way of transportation. And NPCs like the masked man and stuff are receiving new animations. They're looking a lot more real. They don't look like static meshes anymore, which is quite nice. Player bases are being lowered closer to the ground because of the cars, and it will allow players to drive over their base, which is quite cool. The new cars will explode on impact, also guaranteeing a kill to the enemy, which is stupid. No exotic box items will be in rotation. And when Third Sacrifice does release, the game will not be playable for a little while after, due to them wanting to ensure that there is absolutely nothing wrong with the update. But Foxy did say, when they do this, it will be for like one day, it might not even be for a full day. They're trying to make sure that everything's fully functional, and they're going to allow executive players to play it. Now, Inferno boxes are also being made harder to obtain, which is quite nice. So overall, everything's getting a bit harder to do in Miners Haven. Just before I end the video, I do want to talk about the release date. A lot of you have been asking, a lot of you have been waiting, we've all been waiting patiently. It's been 4 years, pretty much. I mean, come on. We're getting a bit relentless here, impatient. While there is no release date, and all of my assumptions thus far have been completely wrong, I will give you an insight into the development of it, because I don't think all of you understand quite what Third Sacrifice is. The Forbidden Sacrifice update is going to be the biggest update Miners Haven has and will ever have. It will trump any other update, be triple, even quadruple the size of Reincarnation. It is huge. It is absolutely mental. There are challenges. You've even seen, I've even said there might even be a new mode coming out. It's going to be absolutely insane. And the reason why it's taking so long is because no system or item is being overlooked. They are being so precise and careful with how they make the update and how they balance it, because they need to make sure that it's not that easy, but it's not hard. Although, to be fair, I wouldn't mind a bit of a challenge, which is what Third Sacrifice is going to be. Granted, we have waited roughly around 4 years for the update. The wait will be worth it, trust me, it really will. Like, from what's been teased, and that it's looking really promising. And the main thing that is taking up the biggest chunk of time is testers, testing the game to make sure that it is as balanced and as bug-free as possible. The fact that Foxy has been and has almost finished the map is a good indicator to the progression of the update. Unless they've decided to make the map before the rest of the update, which is very unlikely. I know this is very outdated and a bit of a like, take it with a pinch of salt. Last year, Talon said that he couldn't wait for Third Sacrifice to come out last year, 2022, right? Didn't come out. We're now over halfway through the next year, 2023. We're already in July. Where's Third Sacrifice? Well, someone actually asked this question, and to my surprise, and to probably a lot of people's surprise, they actually answered. They said that it is definitely going to be this year. So, although I would say take this word with a pinch of salt, although it's coming from the dev, one of the devs, one of the big dogs themselves, Talon, you can't always take their word because they've said that it's coming out for a long time now. They've said that they've shown their progress in that, but considering how long it's been, I would be very surprised if it wasn't out this year. Lastly, I feel like I owe you guys an explanation as to why there has been such a delay in uploads recently. It's been a year since I made a video, and I do feel bad because I know some people kind of relied on my channel and my videos to see the progress of Third Sacrifice, because not everyone has Discord, not everyone has Twitter, not everyone follows the devs and their progress, and most people won't be as ballsy as me and go out of their way scanning through hours and hours of conversations between people to try and find the smallest amount of evidence towards an update. Yes, that's exactly what I do. I have no life, don't question me, alright? I do feel like I need to explain myself. So last year, my PC kind of imploded. And one of the memory cards, one of the storage devices that I had, was lost. One of 3, by the way. And that very storage device was the one that I had stored all of the leaks and all of the stuff that I was saving up to do videos on. Yeah, it was not a pleasant time. I was not very happy. Not only that, Brezza Games Discord, the place that I went to get almost all of the information that I have about the updates, the leaks, the Third Sacrifice, the men, the whatever, yeah, that's shut down. Out of nowhere, no one expected it. And anything leaked or revealed in the Miners Haven 100 Discord before this January this year, I also can't access either, because, well, it doesn't load. And I've tried finding a solution, I haven't found one. So, up until January this year, that's as far as I can go for leaks. But all of this information that I have explained is everything part of the Miners Haven Leaks channel on Discord and on Twitter. However, not everything went downhill, as I did end up contacting George, also known as Totally Mysterious, a fellow Miners Haven enjoyer and content creator. He has recently become quite trusted with... he's become the one trusted with leaking content for Third Sacrifice and updates past that. I don't think he's leaked anything past that. I thought he might be able to access some of the older content on Brezza Games Discord so that I could see, but sadly no. But he was very helpful, and overall he was a very nice guy. I'm going to leave his channel in the description. I'm going to put the link on the screen. I'm sure almost all of you have probably already seen him and subscribed to him or whatever, because he is bigger than me and he's quite well known in the community. Just before I end it off, last thing, because of all this stuff that's happened, if any of you have any information about the leaked content that I don't know and I haven't put in this video or any previous videos, please do put them in the comments. Yeah, thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. I appreciate it all. I'll see you hopefully very, very soon. I don't know. But yeah, see ya.